Is Becky Lynch trolling Charlotte Flair ahead of Survivor Series? Some people think so. She posted a 3-year-old photo from when she had her nose broken by Nia Jax. So we're going to jump into that. Plus, today we find out what Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik of Lucha House Party had to say about their WWE release. And Matt Cardona comments on if he will come back to WWE or AEW. We're going to jump into all of it in today's Freestyle Friday edition of The Top Story. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Watch out, watch out, watch out! It's Freestyle Friday. It's The Top Story. Jose G, Jeremy Bennett. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. As always, hit that like button, subscribe button. We're well on our way, over 23,000 on YouTube right now. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Keep doing that. Keep subscribing and smashing that notification bell. We got tons of stuff to jump into today, Jeremy, even though it's not as hot as last Friday with all the releases breaking in the middle of our broadcast. But we still got some noteworthy stories. Yesterday, we had a crazy interview with Becky Lynch where she revealed that she doesn't trust Charlotte Flair. And today, Becky makes headlines yet again. Becky posts the 3-year-old picture when she got her face broken in by Nia Jax on SmackDown when they were doing the whole invasion angle. And she posted that photo today. And some people's eyebrows are going like, what's the scoop here, bro? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to it, but who knows? Because I mean, it was 3 years ago. Hard to believe it was 3 years ago. Does not seem like that was 3 years ago, but that was Survivor Series time in 2018. Sure enough, and of course, well, Charlotte took her place. So I don't know if there's any significance to her posting that. I mean, she didn't really, to my knowledge, I'm looking at the tweet right now. She didn't really post any words to it or anything. Just the photo.
Just leaving this here. I'm going to leave this here. You guys make whatever assumption you want.
I don't know. Maybe she's going to show up on SmackDown tonight. Maybe. I don't know. And maybe it just means nothing because it was 3 years ago. I really, because it was the 3 years ago to the day. So I don't, honestly, if it was 3 years ago to the day, I don't think it has anything to do with Charlotte, but you never know.
Exactly. You never know, especially with all the news that she made yesterday with that interview on SI Media Podcast, where she revealed that she doesn't trust Charlotte Flair. And then she drops this today. So some people's eyebrows are raising up, but I'm with you right there. I don't think there's a whole lot much to this, but it would be interesting if we could start getting some build, champion versus champion storylines. It is brand versus brand, the one time of the year that both brands go to head competition. So maybe this is the way to start it up.
I'd like to see Becky show up tonight. Like I said, I've been saying this all week. I've been saying that we need to quit with just talking into the camera for a month and actually have a little action ahead of Survivor Series. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get something like that tonight.
Guys, it is the Freestyle Friday edition of The Top Story. So make sure you get your questions in, your comments in, sound off in the chat right now, because we're going to be showing your questions, your comments all throughout the show. And we're going to be taking your questions at the end of the show. Anything you want. It could be Becky, it could be Charlotte, it could be WWE, it could be AEW, it could be anything you want.
Anything you want.
So, all right, man, let's jump into the second story here. Where last week we had a huge round of WWE releases. 18 superstars were let go from the company last week. Amongst those superstars, Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik both commented on their WWE release. And then we also got a little bit of more backstage information that was kind of confirmed by Lince Dorado. But what's the scoop here? What does Uncle Dave have to tell us about this?
Old Uncle Dave says how Dorado and Metalik requested their departures after being asked to lose to Garza and Carrillo in main event on this was in Boston on September 13th. This was the last time we saw both guys together, but then later on we saw Dorado lose to Cedric Alexander on main event the following week. The report was noted that Dorado was upset after the loss to Garza and Carrillo and was asked to talk to Vince McMahon, but that wasn't viewed well by many people. Dorado was reportedly the one who asked to be released first following that match, but Metalik agreed to ask for his release as well. Dorado issued a response to that today, just saying almost true. Almost. That's Meltzer in a nutshell, anyways, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. But quick Spanish lesson. Do you know how to say almost in Spanish?
Oh God, I used to.
Casi.
Oh,
Casi.
Spanish is a little
un poco. Almost
Spanish,
there. Almost there.
Spanish is rusty since college, so.
We got guys, the loyals watching us here on our Facebook, but interesting, dude. I mean, I thought this story was kind of a little bit eyebrow raising for me, just because I've met Lince Dorado. I've actually trained with him years and years ago, back in 2013 when I did train in the ring. I got to meet him and I got to do some one-on-one stuff with him. Really cool guy, but it really didn't strike me that the way that is being described in this story, that he just wanted to talk to Vince McMahon, and that wasn't viewed too many of our, I mean, he's a pretty approachable person, so I don't know if that was the problem there, but I mean, who knows? I mean, this is coming from Dave.
Yeah, and maybe Lince didn't realize that they were going to put the push behind Carrillo and Garza like they have over the past couple of months. So maybe
they both have name changes. Not only it's not just Angel Garza, is just Angel, and then it's Humberto, and now they're the Los Lotharios.
Biggie welcomed him to the club. Biggie welcomed him to the Lose Your Name Club. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize that there was a push and this was just a random loss, and he was upset about it. Again, I don't know how many people would really care about a loss on Main Event, but I don't know how many people even. I don't know how many people even watch Main Event, but you know, I don't know. It was interesting to see. Just being upset at that is kind of weird. It wasn't like these guys are, you know, were consistent losers either. I mean, Carrillo was getting pushed pretty heavily in the United States title picture just a couple of months before. Garza was kind of not doing much though, but I mean, very talented guy in his own right. So I don't know. It's a little confusing to see him be that upset about it, but it could have been just the last straw too, because Lucha House Party really didn't get much traction under
they weren't. No,
the main
unfortunately,
roster.
Yeah. It only seems that they know what to do with one mass superstar. They can't have multiple mass superstars and manage them well. But whatever they end up doing, I'm sure that they can't wait until February, because that's when their non-compete is up. And there are already quite a few promotions already interested in Lince Dorado, but more particularly Gran Metalik AAA down in Mexico. Dave also reported today that AAA is interested in Gran Metalik in Mexico. He goes by the name Máscara Dorada, and the promotion has already have a bunch of high flyers. Karrion Kross used to wrestle over there in AAA under the Killer Kross moniker. Taya Valkyrie also used to wrestle there, and those are also other names that they are looking for. They're looking for big time attractions, and they're also looking to bring some stars from all the recently released guys from Ring of Honor. So guys like Rush, guys like Ray Horace, guys like Flamita. So those guys are also being requested in AAA. So, dude, they're in a different country. I don't know if Lince and Gran have to adhere to that 90-day non-compete because they're in a different country.
Yeah, I don't know about AAA because it's not really a televised company. So you almost think they could just do it.
It is a televised company, but they just broadcast it in the United States.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm wondering if with it not being in the United States, I wonder if that helps their availability or not. To be honest, I'm not sure how that works with that.
I don't know what the legality is, if there's a loophole because if it's outside of the country. I don't know if that really applies. I don't know. If any of you guys know, I would like to see it in the comments. I see all you guys are sounding off on today's Freestyle Friday. I promise we will get to you guys in just a few before we cover our last story of the night. So we got to talk about Matt Cardona, man, because Matt Cardona has been killing it ever since he's left WWE. He's made some appearances on Impact. He's made some appearances on AEW. But the most notable appearance he's did is when he showed up at GCW. He became GCW World Champion, got booed, got thrown trash in his face inside the ring. People didn't like it.
Became GCW's top heel.
Yeah, he really did. But so he's been working his ass off to get his name out there so people can follow what he's doing. And today he had an interesting interview with Wrestling Inc. where he commented about the possibility of either coming back to AEW or WWE. What's going on here, Jeremy?
Yeah, Cardona does mention that he talks with Tony Khan on a pretty regular basis, but never anything about coming back to the company or anything about that. He did mention that Tony did comment him on the work that he's been doing in other promotions as well. So apparently that door is probably open. He did mention that he does not talk to WWE, though, but he is very grateful for it because, of course, the only thing he's ever wanted in his life is to be a WWE superstar. And if it wasn't for WWE, he wouldn't have been able to create his podcast or have, basically the time of his life right now. He says never say never, but I mean, if they call him to induct him into the Hall of Fame, he's completely down for that.
I chuckled at that because that particular WrestleMania in Dallas is a very special WrestleMania for Matt Cardona because he won the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match.
I was there.
WrestleMania. Yeah.
I was there. Great moment.
What was that reaction?
Oh, it was one of the bigger pops of the night, really, because it was the early in the show too. That might have helped it because it was early in the show, but it was a long show. But a lot of people loved it, and a lot of people were rooting for it. It was a great moment. His dad got in the ring with him at the end, and it was really a great moment to see live. But you just had the news of reportedly someone high up in NXT trying to block his fiance from signing with Ring of Honor. So, I mean, I don't think he's probably really itching to go to WWE, even if they happen to call him back. So, I don't know. I think he's created a nice niche for himself in Impact.
I agree.
Impact allows you to basically just work 2 days a month for them, and then you got the rest of your time to yourself. So then he can go to GCW, he can go anywhere else that he wants. So and AEW is kind of like that. It's probably more like maybe double the commitment, or maybe a little more than double the commitment. 4 to 6 days a month probably is all you needed for AEW. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back. There was always rumblings of why he never did. Some people thought he wanted too much money, but I don't know if that's ever a thing with Tony Khan. So maybe he just wanted that freedom and wanted to do things. But I mean, you get that freedom in AEW too, because Mox does GCW. So I don't know. I don't know if what exactly happened, but apparently they're in good terms. So it's interesting to see. But I don't know. I think he's pretty content in Impact, and I think both him and Brian Myers are really doing well. They're really doing a good job with Brian Myers. I really hope they make him a world champ sometime, because they both deserve to be world champion. But I think he's content in Impact, and I don't think AEW is anytime soon.
I agree. I think what Matt Cardona is doing right now, as himself, building up a brand and kind of like his own thing. He's not, because everybody knows him as Zack Ryder, but now people are going to have to know him as Matt Cardona because of the type of things that he's doing out there, and people are noticing. And when people notice and people talk about you, you become more relevant. And you know what? Down the line, if he wants to come back and have another run in WWE, guess what? He's going to be a hot commodity at that point.
And look what he's doing on the resume. He is a white meat baby face on Impact. He's fighting some of the top guys. I think he took on Morrissey this week. I need to catch Impact yet. I have not caught. Well, I'm a couple weeks behind on Impact. And then you see how good of a heel he can be, man. What he does at GCW as a prick is just tremendous. I love it. Everybody hates him because GCW is basically ECW of 20 years ago. And when an outsider comes in and is brash and cocky and You get hated, and then you embrace that hate, and you even become a bigger heel because of it. So he's showing such a great range between those two companies.
Absolutely. Completely agree. Guys, get in the comments. Jump in right now. Sound off. Let us know what you think of all these stories today in Freestyle Friday. We're going to go ahead and jump into your questions and jump into your comments. Remember to engage with the show, guys. Hit that thumbs up, the heart emoji, the laugh emoji, the angry emoji. Just engage with the show. And of course, make sure you are subscribing to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. We are well on our way over 23,000. Help us get there by the end of the month by liking, sharing, and subscribing and smashing that notification bell so you never, ever, ever miss whenever we drop brand new content.
Ever.
Speaking of brand new content, we have a brand new interview with Bianca Belair. She comments about everything from her dream scenario to WrestleMania to what it's like working with Becky Lynch after her comeback, now that she's had a pretty good amount of time in the ring with the big time Becks. And she talks about a whole range of things. So catch the interview right now, available on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. Tonight, we got Dirty Dutch Mantel, Rick Cucino on SP3 covering SmackDown and AEW Rampage on a brand new episode of Smack Talk. Every Monday night, you got Legion of Raw with Dr. Chris Featherstone and Vince Russo, bro. And on Wednesday nights, myself, Enrico El Glorioso, covering everything NXT and AEW. And every afternoon here on The Top Story with Jeremy and Kevin. Kevin's not here today. He's got prior engagement. So you and I get to dive into these questions today on Freestyle Friday. Jeremy, ready?
It's Friday.
Let's jump into it. Here we go.
Throw your neighborhood in the air.
All right, James Espanto, Fernando Taguay, loyal Sportskeeda wrestling fan, Ricans of wrestling fan. He's asking, what do you guys think about Ric Flair getting into the podcast game? Yes, I actually reported that on that this morning. He is starting or relaunching, because he used to have a podcast. He's relaunching the new podcast, and I forget the name of it. I reported on it this morning. The Woo Nation.
Woo Nation.
It's called the Woo Nation Uncensored. That's what it's called. So this is going to be, he's going to have a co-host, former WCW announcer Mark Madden is going to be with him. So it's going to be a good show. It's going to be dropping every Wednesday. So the premiere, it premieres next Wednesday. So be on the lookout for the brand new Woo Uncensored, Woo Nation Uncensored. I think that's going to be cool. What do you think?
I wonder what he's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what he's gonna talk about. He's always talked about for a long time that he's gonna tell his side of the story eventually. So, with the dark side of the ring, so this will probably be a platform to do it here. Probably, I guess it seems like it's gonna be a lot more looser than what his podcast with Conrad was before. So it'll be interesting to see if he it divulges a lot more than, or if it is a little more wilder than his other show with Conrad.
James Brown watching us on Facebook's asking, what about Brock Lesnar? Are they going to get rid of Brock Lesnar? I heard the other day they're going to let him go. No, they have not let him go. This is all storyline. He has been indefinitely suspended and fined an insane amount of money, $1 million. I think that was a little bit too much for Brock. But whatever, they're trying to discipline him.
That's kayfabe.
But no, it's all kayfabe. It's all storyline. He's not fired.
Nope, he'll be back at the Rumble.
Paul Savage saying the Lucha House Party should have never been released in the first place. Get them back in WWE. Another big mistake. Well, here's the problem, Paul. They weren't using him. They weren't using them. They weren't booking them in a feud with anyone. They weren't in the tag team division competing for the tag team. You know where they were? They were in the 24/7 division. That's where they were. How are you going to treat these guys? And they needed to go, unfortunately. And I kind of agree with Lindsay and Grant wanting their release.
The writing was on the wall once they started the pinata stuff.
Let's see here. What else we got? Ricky Castillo watching us on Facebook. Off topic, I want to see Bandido in AEW and work with Andrade. What do you think?
Anywhere Bandido goes is going to be tremendous, and God, a match with him and Andrade. I mean, just him and Ray Phoenix. I mean, boy, he's going to be a hot commodity. It'll be it'll be interesting if he's still, it's funny that that AAA article didn't mention Bandito. So I'm wondering if they're thinking, since he's going to be their champion, they think he's a lock to just come back to Ring of Honor in April. But at the same time, they're not working these exclusive deals anymore. So I don't know. I thought it was weird that AAA didn't mention him, but maybe it's because they know something. Maybe they know that he's heading to Ring of Honor
And AAA already works with
or
AEW.
AEW.
So.
Yeah. So
James Espanto is asking, where do you see Jay Lethal land?
ooh, I don't see him going back to Impact. He's already been there and done that. Man, it would be interesting to see him have a WWE run. You always wonder why he never did. So, but now it's like, do they? He doesn't have the size, and he's older, so I don't think WWE is
gonna want him. Yeah, they're not gonna want him.
So I'm sure Tony and AEW could do well with him, or obviously Impact is going to be another option. It remains to be seen. Maybe he just lays low for 4 months. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If anything, I think he should return to Impact, or slash TNA. I think that's his home away from home.
Yeah,
he should go back there. There's a whole plethora of different stars now in Impact that he can mix it up with. So I think Impact would be a good choice for Jay Lethal. CRC Christopher Ryan Cooper watching us on Facebook saying, are we gonna see the Rainmaker make an appearance in AEW? If he does, he's a game changer when it comes to that forbidden door.
Yes, we're gonna see him in AEW. No, we are not gonna see him Saturday. He has a show.
Damn, that's a lot of people were hoping to see in Okada.
And New Japan's running a show, and that show basically starts towards the tail end of Full Gear. Starts at 10 Central, 11 Eastern. So where is that show at even? Where's that New Japan show at? That's probably West Coast, ain't it? Yeah. So
it's probably going to be somewhere near the dojo on the West Coast in Cali.
Yeah. So unless it's a videotape thing, you're guaranteed you're not going to see him in person Saturday. So unless it's a videotape thing, like they did back in the day with Jericho, Jericho did the videotape stuff with New Japan, so they could do videotape stuff maybe, but definitely not him in person. But I do see Okada is going to be. I feel pretty good that Okada is going to wrestle in All Elite Wrestling at some point soon.
We get this question asked at least twice a week. Kyron Randall from Facebook is asking, what are your guys' thoughts about Shane McMahon maybe coming to AEW and invade WWE just like the old days in 2001, and maybe someday in the future WWE gets WWE versus AEW? Do you guys want it?
Well, Shane's out of the business right now, so that ain't gonna happen.
I don't think that'll ever happen. I mean, never say never. You never know, right?
Tony would do it. Vince will never do it. Tony would do it. Vince would never do it.
Yeah, I know. Probably not. If Triple H ever comes into power, he probably may want to do it.
I want Triple H to start his own promotion now at this point. Hell,
I do too. I agree with that.
One quick story. One quick story that just broke. This actually came out earlier in the week, but Keith Lee setting the record straight. Apparently, there was a claims that WWE was not paying for his medical bills. Of course, he just got released. He said that is not true.
I mean, he commented that he said he paid his own bills and his own medical.
Yeah, he is saying his recent let's see, WWE is saying, I'm sorry, WWE says Keith Lee's claims are erroneous. So WWE came out and said that they are paying and that Keith Lee's lying. So I read that headline wrong at first.
Here's another word for the day for gossip and bochinche. It's a bochinche. It's crazy. It's wild. Man,
it's super crazy.
It's super crazy. All right, guys, we're going to jump into a few more of your questions before we head out for the weekend. Let's see here. Let's jump. All right, Albert Morin, he's asking, do you guys ever hang out at Hogan's Hangout? I've never been. I know there's a couple of different ones. There's a Hogan's, I think it's like a surf shop down
Yeah.
at International Drive in here in Orlando. That's about 20 minutes away, but I've never been. I've always wanted to go. And I know he has another one in Clearwater near the beach. That's about 2 hours west from me. And I've seen it, but I've never gone in. Funny story, I was driving with my wife one day in the beach, and all of a sudden I see Hogan on a black Harley with a black bandana. And
Brother.
he's just cruising on 19 like nothing. That was really cool. Let's see here. Jumping into more of your questions. Daniel Price is saying, game changer, haha, not hardly. The only people Okada will register with his wrestling fans, a niche audience. Well, the AEW fan base is pretty smart marquee, so they'll know who Okada is.
Oh, seriously, Okada and New Japan would have tours in Ring of Honor all the time. So, yeah, I think it would be a big deal.
All right, let's see here. James has popped one more question here. Good old JB and Jose G. If you're up and coming tag team and you get approached by WWE, do you rethink it?
Yeah, they've shown over many years that they don't put stock in the tag team division. And yeah,
it's not their primary focus, right?
No.
And whenever they try to do it, it almost comes off cartoonish. You can't really take it seriously, you know? Yeah. And for the Viking Raiders is a good example. Like during the pandemic, when we had the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits taking on ninjas and a gigantic ninjas on a big ninja Omas at the time. So like it's laughable. Like, how can you take a tag team division seriously when you're putting on shit like that?
Yeah, and like there were so many instances years, like maybe 10 years ago or so, you would have your tag team champions and there would be no tag division. Like their competitors would be thrown together teams. That's why you saw Jericho and it get teamed up with so many random people all the time, Jericho and things like that. It's because they didn't have a tag division hardly. They had their tag champs. They broke up everybody else and, just basically proven that there's no stock in it. Look at the women's tag division right now. They haven't done anything with Nikki and Rhea lately. They've done more with Rhea single than they have with them as a team over the past 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, and that comes back to the question is like how many titles are necessary in a promotion? Like, do you think they do have too many titles? That question always comes up too.
Yeah, I don't think too many titles is that much of an issue, because if you can book it right, Impact has women's tag titles and they have a great tag division, and then they have a great knockouts division. So they do it right with the women.
It's how you book it, right?
You have a world title and a secondary title in that company too, plus men's tag titles. So it's the fact that they don't put effort behind it, and that's the issue with it.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And James says here, WWE doesn't need 2 tag divisions; just have 1 tag titles for both brands. I think that's cool. That's what they're doing with the women. I think they should do that with the men.
They did that for a while.
They did. All right, guys, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Freestyle Friday edition of The Top Story. Remember, tonight we got Smack Talk with Dirty Dutch Mantel, Rick Ucchino, and SP3. They're going to be recapping and reviewing both SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Over the weekend, we got big stuff coming. We have the post-show for Full Gear tomorrow night, immediately after the pay-per-view. Jeremy, Rick Ucchino, and Kevin will be breaking down everything that went down on this historic show tomorrow night. Plus, we got tons of interviews and content dropping on the daily. The only way you can find out when we're dropping stuff, you have to subscribe to the channel. You got to smash that notification bell so you never miss whenever we drop brand new content. Rick Ucchino has a brand new interview right now with Bianca Belair. Go right now, check that out. She spills the beans on everything and talks everything about Becky. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Follow me on my socials, Jose G Official. Follow Jeremy at JB Huskers. What you got going on this weekend, Jeremy? Anything fun you're getting yourself into?
Oh man, I don't know.
You said
Outside of
it's
full
cold
gear,
there.
it is cold, so I might just hunker down with Grand Theft Auto Remastered.
Sounds
Uh,
like a plan.
I'm gonna, of course, be watching Full Gear tomorrow night, and I'll be on for the post show, and then watch a little football on Friday. So that's about all I'm gonna do, I think.
That sounds like a productive weekend.
Yeah.
I got a birthday party to go to tomorrow, but besides that, I'm gonna be just kind of relaxing and chilling, and gonna watch a little bit of Full Gear on Sunday morning because I won't be able to watch it Saturday night. But yeah, so I'm just gonna have a good time. Oh, and I just got a new batch of these pumpkin nitro coffee brew beer. So it was really good. I liked it. So I think I'm gonna stick with that.
There you go.
All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back on Monday with the top story. Remember, when you're watching wrestling, you have to do the most important thing, which is what, Jeremy?
Enjoy that wrestling. Yeah.
That's it. Enjoy it. Have a good weekend, guys. Good night.